Get ready to master your life and achieve your dreams with Lifestyle Mastery, the show that will transform the way you think about personal development, business, and entrepreneurship, and explores the fascinating world of self-improvement with the guidance of the renowned expert, Dr. Sheila Smith. From mastering your mindset to building a successful business, Dr. Smith and her guests will inspire, educate, and empower you to live your best life.
Welcome to Lifestyle Mastery. I am your host, Dr. Sheila Smith, and today we have the prolific Dr. Gerald Hightower. I am excited to bring him up to the stage. We are going to talk about all things personal development, and I am excited, and I'm so excited I'm going to bring him up even now. So welcome to you, sir. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sheila. I'm honored to be here.
So, tell the people a little bit about what it is that you do exactly, as far as I know we're jumping right in, but I'm excited to get to what is it that you do to assist the people?
Oh, thank you, Dr. Sheila. Well, I am a relationship educator and purpose strategist, bringing you almost 20 years of pastoral counseling experience. And so, interestingly, Dr. Sheila, I'm most known around the country and some places around the world for relationships coaching. People even promoted me as the love doctor, which I absolutely cannot stand, as you know. However, my first and foremost passion is all about purpose strategy. And if God had put me on the earth to do only one thing, it would be equipping people to fulfill their purpose.
I know for myself, I think to myself when I was earlier in my life, what am I created to do? Why am I here? And I always would ask myself those questions. And so, I want to go and ask you a couple of questions that I know that's going to help the audience in their journey. At least if nothing else, it will point them in the direction of where they should go, I should say. So how do you help individuals identify and articulate their personal purpose, and what methodologies or assessments do you use?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you, Dr. Sheila. Well, first of all, like you, I've been asking God that question at 9 years old. At 9 years old, I started asking God that question, God, why am I here? And of course, it took years to really, really figure it out, because coming up as a 70s/80s baby, that wasn't something that was taught to us. Mental health, emotional health, and well-being and wellness, those weren't things that were in pop culture, certainly not in the Black community. And so it was a long journey of discovery. But I remember one day asking God, if you will show me exactly what your purpose, your plan is for my life, I will go back and teach others. And it was a long journey, a long season of God just downloading to me, waking me up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and me walking the floors and reading. And I remember even giving my friend, while in the midst of, shout out to my LA Lakers, in the midst of the Lakers championship run with Kobe and Shaq, I had my friend come over to my house and said, take my TV out of here. He says, gee, why are you giving your TV away? I said, I no longer need it, because all I want to do is hear from God and hear about what he has purposed for my life. And so the strategy that I share, which is called LEAP, my LEAP program, which is Leaders Equipped to Advance into Purpose. And so this program, Dr. Sheila, it literally helps people discover, first and foremost, relationship with the purpose maker. Because outside of really having relationship with God, who is the purpose maker, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to really understand the totality of your purpose. Now, of course, there are people who don't know God at all and have really become very successful in life. But as we see, many people with hundreds of millions of dollars have committed suicide simply because they lack understanding regarding their purpose. It's for no other reason. It's not because they don't feel loved. It's not because they don't feel accepted, although those may be symptomatic of a deeper issue. And the deeper issue is that void that can only be filled with you understanding who God is and what he put you on the earth to do.
I'm ready to run. Actually, yeah, I said it. I'm ready to run. And so, because without knowing it, I mean, you can walk through life, you can stumble through life, you can kick the can down the road, and you know what I mean? And you'll try to figure it out. But then because of the cares of life, you know, you tend not to think about it until a pivotal moment occurs in your life. And then you start focusing back on that. I just love that leap. I got to dig into that leap. So can you share some examples of successful purpose-driven strategies that you've developed for individuals and organizations, and including the outcomes and impacts that it achieved?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sheila. You know, what's interesting is with regards to purpose, we actually begin to walk in at least a modicum of purpose, at least in a modicum of understanding about what we're here to do. It's a natural, organic flow and expression of what's on the inside of us, right? And so what's interesting is that my whole life, I've already been, you know, I'll say it like this, Dr. Sheila, and I know you feel me on this, on the outer fringes of purpose strategist and purpose consultant.
Yeah.
Right. So growing up as a kid and being a team leader, growing up as a kid and being a peacemaker and a mediator in my family, even among the adults, and then honing in on my niche on what I do best, because I was athletic, but I was not the most athletic cat, never one of the most athletic guys. But, you know, I held my own playing football, running track and things like that. But never exceptional in any of those things. And so again, as a kid, I'm asking God, what makes me exceptional? What makes me stand out? What makes me set apart? And I was asking these questions to God even before I really knew who Christ was. And so coming back to your question, Dr. Sheila, it's really, it's somewhat giving people a formula, but again, it's tapping into the intimate relationship with God, finding out who he is, and then what he put you on the earth to do. And then this is a huge piece right here that will help a lot of people, understanding that no matter how incredible your gift is, no matter how effective or how impactful it is, no matter how much money you make with your gift is not your purpose. Your gift is merely God's divine transportation that takes you to your destination.
That's it.
So really people understand that, and then really helping them to define the fact that if you are on the pathway of purpose, then you should, if you haven't become already, if you don't have this heart already, you should be developing a heart of servitude, because us fulfilling our purpose is always, and I can say this, Dr. Sheila, universally across the board, no matter whom you are, if you are on the planet Earth, or even if you're on Mars, Venus, or Uranus, or Jupiter, if you understand your purpose is always about how your life can be used to make a positive and powerful impact on the lives of others. It's never about us.
Okay, I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in this. Okay, so what about that person that does not have a relationship with God, nor wants a relationship with God? Is it possible for them to find their purpose?
Great question, Dr. Sheila. So I'll say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, again, just as you and I were both from the time we were in our youth and we were already serving to some degree. I was always considered the leader of the misfits, as some of my friends called me, right? So all of the people who were rejected by the popular people at school, all those people would always be following me. And I'm like, yo, why y'all following me? We just love you, G. And you just make us feel accepted. I'm like, all right, come along, misfit toys. So I was the leader of the island of misfit toys. And so the leader of those who were rejected and ostracized. I've always become a leader for those people, a leader for the people who were the voiceless. Being a voice, becoming a voice for the voiceless. Becoming an advocate for those who would be ostracized and rejected. And so that has always been my lane long before I knew who God was. And so many people will discover, again, at least a measure of your purpose, even if you are a complete atheist. But you'll never understand it in totality and never be able to completely walk it out until you develop a relationship with God. Consider this, that you have this incredible new vehicle. It comes off the assembly line, but then 10,000, 20,000 miles down the road, it now needs maintenance. Well, the operator of the vehicle doesn't know what's wrong with it. What do you have to do in order to get it to its optimal level? You got to go back to the manufacturer. That's God.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. How do you measure the impact of your consulting or empowerment training in helping individuals live a purpose-driven life? And what indicators do you consider most important?
Great question. So first and foremost, this is what's so exciting for me. Every single person's purpose is different.
Yes.
Even if you have two people who are Siamese twins joined together at the hip, they have individual purposes. Yes, they're going to have a collective purpose. They're joined together at the hip, right? So they've got to move at least to, oftentimes they have to move in the same direction, but they're still going to have unique tastes. They're still going to have unique desires, and they're still going to have unique things that they have a particular burden for, right? These two Siamese twins, I met Siamese twins, actually, these two beautiful Black women at Dodger Stadium many years ago when I was a kid. They've since passed away, but they lived in Los Angeles, two beautiful Siamese twins. They were joined together at the head. And it was so funny. And they made us laugh. They made us feel comfortable with laughing with them, the fact that one sister wanted to go get a hot dog and the other sister wanted to go take a picture with a celebrity. And she was like, girl, come this way. No, let's go this way. And they made us feel comfortable, because at first we were like, oh my God, but they made us feel comfortable with understanding, even though we're joined together at the head, we still have different desires and different directions that we would like to go in. And so that's what makes it exciting for me as a consultant, as a purpose strategist, is that I get to work with individuals and organizations who all have different needs. And so our modus operandi is really going to be determined by a wonderful assessment and evaluation that I take every person and or organization through. And as we evaluate those things, what are their, basically an overglorified version of the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, right? Looking at all those things. And then for me, really honing in on what is your passion? What is that one thing that you would do every single day of the week, and you would rise up and be excited about doing it, even if you didn't get paid?
That's what I say.
If money was never a concern for you, bills are paid for life. House note is paid for night. Car notes or groceries are paid for life. And you can just rise up and not have a money concern in the world. What would be that one thing you would love to do to make an awesome contribution to the world, even if you didn't get paid for it?
It almost sounds like that's what you're doing. It almost sounds like that's what you're doing. It sounds like this is what you do, whether you get paid or not. There's some times that you have done this, and I know in my own life, I've done this for decades and not wanted a penny, because you are so full when you assist someone to getting to their purpose.
Absolutely, Dr. Sheila. 7 years as founder and pastor of the Purpose Center International Ministries in Paris, California. And I never got a salary and didn't care, because I loved bringing a biblical-based perspective to real life issues that people are dealing with. And it really if you start peeling back all of the layers, it really focuses in on, wow, if I really start walking in my purpose, the reason why God put me on the earth, the reason of my existence, if I hone in on that, all the answers start coming.
Wow.
Everything flourishes from there, relationally, emotionally, intellectually, physically. Dr. Sheila, even now, physically, I'm right now honing in on becoming more physically fit. My doctor said I only need to lose 50 pounds. Guess what? For me to be at my optimal level, I'm looking at 63 pounds that I want to lose.
Okay.
And I have a set goal on how I'm going to go about doing that. Here's the blessing. I've done it before. I lost over 50 pounds before. And it was so incredible. The people at my church was telling me, oh, wow, gee, you ought to write a book, man. That's incredible. And I share with them what my process was. So I'm getting back on that same process. And it doesn't require a strenuous weight regimen, although that is very, very helpful. But it doesn't require you to go to the gym and, try to be the ebony man of the month. It doesn't require you to do that. But it does require a discipline and a focus on making sure that you are watching what you eat, because inevitably, Dr. Sheila, we are what we eat.
Your health is your wealth. And if you don't have it, there's nothing else in this life. I don't care how much money you have. It's not going to help you without your health being made a priority. So I love that. So your doctor told you that that is going to affect your well-being.
Absolutely.
Okay. Talk about that.
What's interesting is what he also said is that he says, Gerald, he says, your blood pressure is even better than mine. He said, it's incredible. But he says, you can't continue eating 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I fell into this terrible habit since the pandemic, Dr. Sheila, of eating 10, 11 o'clock at night, because it was the only way that I found myself being able to turn my brain off and go to sleep. So I would eat so I could literally catch the itis.
Not the itis.
So I can literally catch the itis and be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that sweet potato pie was good, okay. And that would be the only way that I could, because I couldn't turn my brain off. But incorporating exercise, not eating after 7, and then incorporating exercise, right? And then doing a brain dump at the end of the night, and then having some good tea. And then I also found some jasmine and another wonderful herb that I put in my tea with chamomile tea, and it totally relaxes me. I'm out like a light in 15 to 20 minutes. Of course, you got to put on Dr. Miles Monroe or someone else to feed your mind, to feed your subconscious while you sleep, or to put on some beautiful worship music that'll help you relax. In 15 to 20 minutes, I'm out like a light.
This is going to help somebody. We're going to go off for a little bit. I want you to dive into what a brain dump is.
Okay.
Talk about it.
A brain dump. So with the multitudinous thoughts that come to your mind throughout the day, you've got to make sure you have your journal by your side, because the principle is if you don't write it, you'll lose it. That whole notion of like, oh, okay, I'm going to file that away, I'm going to remember that later. No, you won't.
That's right.
You'll lose it. Unless you have an assistant who's just one of those people who's writing down all of your notes throughout the day. If you don't have that, listen, you've got to take the time to write down. Boom. So you write down those little downloads that you got. Boom, that idea. Boom. Oh, wow. I ought to have a t-shirt line that says this for my top 10 inspirational sayings. Yes, I just gave you a business idea for all of you wonderful listeners. You just go ahead and send me a tie, then it's all right. And so, boom, you're writing down. So when you come to the end of the day, Dr. Sheila, what helps you detox and helps you get into relax mode mentally and spiritually is to just write down all those thoughts, and then maybe even expand on those thoughts that you wrote. And you wrote one sentence or maybe 3 to 5 words.
Yeah.
What will complete that for you? Okay, yes, a t-shirt company, but what specifically are you going to print? What will be the focus for your t-shirt line, right? Or your apparel line? And so, boom, now expanding on that. So as you begin to brain dump and unload the downloads, guess what happens? You begin to relax. And there is a level of excitement, so it can be kind of tricky, Dr. Sheila. I know you've experienced this as well. It can be a slippery slope because you're getting more excited as you see more things happening. But trust me, those endorphins, eventually you get into relaxation mode because there's a sense of accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And now you have a sense of fulfillment. So instead of going to bed with anxiety, which leaves you staring up at the ceiling counting sheep, now you have a sense of accomplishment. You're more relaxed. Boom. Take that chamomile tea, put you on some nice soft worship music or some nice classical music, and I promise you, you'll drop off really quickly.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I wanted to give the listeners that tidbit because I know that helps me so much. I am a major journalist. I mean, I write everything down. And so I wanted to help them with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you assist organizations in defining and embedding a purpose that goes beyond financial goals?
Oh my goodness, Dr. Sheila, listen, the church is such an incredible foundation for leadership development training. So organically, I was told by the late, great Deaconess Busby. Miss Busby told me, she says at 9 years old, she says, you are a leader. And she says, but you've got to lead people in the right direction.
Okay, all right.
Because I was leading the kids to go to the store in between Sunday school and church. Let's go get some candy, you know what I mean? And then we go get some now laters and sit in the back. And so I was leading the people in the wrong direction. At 9 years old, she kind of pushed me up against the wall in love. And she says, you are a leader. You've got to lead people in the right direction. Yeah. And I'm like, they're 13, 14 years old. They're already in junior high school. Where am I? She says, you are a leader. They're going to follow you. So what the beauty of that was me understanding influence. As the great John C. Maxwell talks about, that leadership is influence, right? Nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to expand on that, Dr. Sheila. Leadership is influencing people toward the accomplishment of a common goal. Nice. So it's not just influence, because if we say leadership is influence, then all of these so-called influencers on social media, that makes them leaders. No, it has to be moving towards something and accomplishing something. Yeah. Right? Because that's what really validates your leadership. And so that said, Dr. Sheila, coming up in church, being involved in choir, being involved in Sunday school, vacation Bible school, all these different activities, youth ministry, all these different things really helped me to start developing my tools for leadership. Now moving forward into my job experience, boom. As a salesman, and then working 7 years for the Department of Defense, getting involved in government security, ultimately executive protection security and airline security, serving as assistant general manager for American Airlines as a contractor at LAX. All these things just really developed my skills for leadership training and development, but it really started in the church. So really helping people find out like what you're good at, because just because the choir is popular, if you can't carry a tune across the street, boo-boo, okay, the choir is not for you, okay? So let's find another area for you where you're really good at, right? Because everybody wants to be in the choir, especially our choir today. Our choir was hot. So everybody wants to be in the choir, right? Oh, I want to sing in the choir. Oh, Brother G, can I get in the choir? Okay, well, let's go ahead and have you audition. Oh, I just thought we could just come along because the Bible says make a joyful noise. Yeah, but also in the scripture and Psalms, it says make a skillful noise, play skillfully, sing skillfully unto the Lord. Maybe you didn't read that scripture. So if singing is not your gift, if singing is not your area, let's go ahead and get you into an area where you can serve best. And so even at 19, 20, 21 years old, I developed those skills, which really helped me develop those skills on a corporate level, even moving from the church.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And, you know, I would love to continue, I should say, this conversation and have you back.
Our time is up already?
Yeah, I want to continue the conversation because you know why? I want to bring people into 2024 with some actionable steps and things, and we didn't have enough time to get to those pieces. So I want to bring you back so that we can discuss those things as well. But in the meantime, how can they, as a matter of fact, here we go. I know how they can get in touch with you. How about that?
Yes,
we
ma'am.
are going to ghightower.com. If you have any questions, talk about your website. How can they reach you? How can they contact you?
Yes, ma'am. So if you go to my website, ghightower.com, you'll be able to book a purpose discovery call with me. What that's going to do is going to allow you and I to sit down and have a few minutes together for me to take you through a brief evaluation and really help you at least begin the process of discovering your purpose, or just having greater clarity about what your assignment, what your calling is on the earth. Help you to expand in your profession, your ministry, or maybe even help you to develop something that's going to be that's going to really help you grow as an entrepreneur, an artist, or a creative. This is my passion. This is my drive. I'll be honored to serve you. So go to my website and click on Purpose Discovery Call, and that will allow you to book some time with me. I'd be honored to sit with you.
That is wonderful. Dr. G. Hightower, it was an honor having you today, and we look forward to having you back on part 2.
Thank you, Dr. Sheila.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Lifestyle Mastery with Dr. Sheila Smith. We hope that the insights, tips, and tools shared in this episode have inspired and empowered you to take control of your personal and professional life. Remember, personal development and entrepreneurship are a journey, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Keep applying the strategies and techniques you've learned, and never stop striving for your dreams. We'd love to hear from you. Please share your feedback and success stories on our website or social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to Lifestyle Mastery for even more expert insights and inspiration. Thanks again for being a part of our community. We look forward to continuing this journey of growth and success with you. And we'll see you again on our next episode.